Hey, welcome you guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Thanks for being here and being a part of Health and Hope. And for those of you who are watching online, welcome. We're glad that you're learning the elements with us. We have a couple of guests here tonight, and I'm going to have Rex come up and do the Optavia Pledge. You did the program before, so I'm sure you know the pledge. Are you going to lead us in the pledge?
Negative.
Actually, I'm just giving him a hard time. I'm probably going to edit that part out. But
I'm
I could tell you're the kind of guy I could give a hard time, so I decided to do
I was like, what?
Understatement.
Oh, anyway. No, hey, we're going to start off with a story tonight. I've got a couple of friends who started a program several weeks ago. Stephen Lane Cooper, he owns, I think he's CEO or president of a company up in Coopersville. I actually do some other work for him. But anyway, Stephen and Elaine have been on the program for a little bit. They've had tremendous success. They're great friends of mine, and I think you guys will enjoy their story. So.
Well, no, I was pretty much the heaviest I've ever been, and I was starting to feel it, and it was starting to have some effects on me as far as from health, and it's kind of hard because I travel a lot, and because of the fact that I travel, and we do eat out a lot because Elaine never knows when I'm going to be home from work because I have a really odd schedule. So we eat out a lot, and we weren't probably making some of the better choices when we were doing that. So I got up to the heaviest weight I've ever been. I could feel it. My back was hurting. I was, I could see it having some effect on my health. And, having turned 65 this year, it started concerning me. We decided to do this together, which was really good because we can encourage each other, and we can, help each other even, and there's been a time or so that we've kind of got off of it for one meal, but got right back on it. And it was easy to get back on it and still lose the weight. So we've had a really good success by encouraging each other, and we've both done really well. We've been on it, 7 weeks now. I've lost 36 pounds and you've lost
27.4 pounds.
So, doing good on it, and it's an easy program to follow. And with the traveling, that adds a little bit of a challenge. I can't microwave, so I do pack a lot of bars, and I like the bars personally. So, and the fact that there's more than just one bar, I mean, it's a lot of different flavors. It gives me variety. Of all the diets that I've been on, because I've been on a few, this one's pretty easy to maintain. And the eating, the 5-in-1 has been, it's been good. I mean, there's times when I feel hungry, but it's usually because I've missed a fueling, but I don't feel hungry. And so that's been the nice thing about it. And then, the availability to pick and choose what you like and don't like in the program. I think that's essential, because there's some things that I like less than others. So we get to kind of go in our deliveries and pick what we want, what we like, and that makes it a lot easier too. So I'll let you speak up, and I've been doing all the talking here.
No, just the same thing, like everyone else during COVID and stuff, you ended up, I think ended up putting away, some pounds on that you knew you just didn't feel good about. So this was super easy program to follow, and, you're eating throughout the whole day. You don't feel deprived. And I just think it's one of the easiest things to follow.
One of the things I saw was middle of the afternoon was terrible for me. Before I started the program, I would get to the middle of the afternoon and I would be exhausted, and I would really struggle through the middle of the afternoon. I was drinking a lot more coffee than I am now, and I think I shared that with you. I was drinking a lot of coffee. I still drink a bit, but not as much as I did. And it's not to stay awake. It's because I enjoy it. But no, I was really kind of, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I was just pretty well crashed. And now I've got a lot more energy throughout the day. I feel much, much better. And there's certain things like I had a lot of backaches. I would wake up every morning with a backache. I don't do that anymore. And I think the biggest thing is I've seen the energy, and and with knowing that I'm going to be staying on work longer now. I was thinking I was going to retire in a year or so, but now I'm probably looking at 5 more years because I've been asked to stay. So, this is, I'm feeling good about that now because I have the energy to do it. And so, that to me was really the important thing.
Just feeling way better about yourself too. I mean, because you're seeing the weight come off, you're seeing your sizes go down. I mean, it just gives you a better feeling of, feeling about yourself.
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is seeing the results. I mean, you see the results and they're achievable, and, 7 weeks and losing the weight we've lost, and getting on the scale every morning instead of regretting it. I think we're actually looking forward to it. So it's from that standpoint, I think, seeing those tangible results every day, I think that's the thing that keeps us going. Thought we were getting close to our goal weights, but now we're discussing resetting our goals, because now that we've seen this progress,
we want to keep going.
We want to keep going.
Just thank you for all your coaching.
Yeah, really thanks for your help. It's been, your encouragement and the weekly phone calls have been really good. Us working together on it has been fantastic because we support each other, but having your support and you calling us every week and checking in with us, it makes a difference, and we really appreciate it.
Very good.
Cool. Cool story, huh? So weight loss is surely the hook for this program. I mean, that's the reason most people jump in. It's the biggest, the thing that people look at and the thing that people want. And why not? Because it works, right? But here's the question we have to ask. At the end of the day, or at the end of the program, what do we have left? Have we really created anything, or have we just lost a bunch? And so that's the question that we want to consider tonight. What are we going to do with this program besides lose weight, right? Lots of people will lose weight on this program, but I think what's a little bit different about what we do is that there's a coach there to ask you, so what's next, right? What happens at the end of this, and what are you going for beyond just losing weight? So we want to expose you to a new structure that goes beyond the physical transformation, because we know that the physical is temporal. The physical will only last so long. And if our mental is not in alignment, then our physical will go right back to where it was. Now, health is a powerful gift. I believe firmly that it's a gift that God gave us. The more I learn about biology, the more that I learn about how these bodies operate, I'm just like blown away. I mean, if you ever really looked at the different systems that make our body work, that keep us healthy, the fact that our bodies, long before any of these car companies or even Energizer, the bunny company, was making batteries, God designed a system that could turn food into energy and keep us going all day long, right? We have the ability to heal. We have the ability to be completely free and do what we want with this body, obviously with some limitations, but it's an incredible gift. Now, I do believe that there is an evil entity in creation, the devil. The Bible tells us, Jesus said, the thief comes to steal and kill and destroy. So this incredible body that God gave us, there is a force that's trying to tempt us into the kinds of things that will jeopardize this body's effectiveness and its abilities. We know from the very beginning, the enemy was about death. He loves to lead us toward destructive behaviors and habits, but I do believe that God's intention, and we see this in the life of Jesus, was that he came to restore what was broken. His desire, in John 10:10 we read, would be that we would have life, abundant life, right? So, and it's important because our health affects every part of our life. It affects our social life. I mean, we could think about the ways that our physical composition affects our relationships with other people, right? Especially when we get to drastic places. I have friends that are like close to immobility. They're having to use a walker. They're in a place where life is really impacting their ability to get out and be active. It affects our mental. I mean, we know that depression is linked to being overweight. It's not the only thing that causes depression, but it's definitely a factor. It causes Emotional struggles. We know that a lot of our emotional struggles may be related to our physical health and well-being, possibly our weight and how we feel about our weight. Definitely has spiritual implications. We are a complete system. We're not just a body. We're not just a soul or a being. We are a full organism that works all together, right? So we see all of these different ways that our health affects every different aspect of our life. Now, in week 1, element 1 was the big why, right? Figuring out our why, getting to the bottom of our why. How many of you guys actually sat down and did your why? That's okay. No big deal. We're going to give you an opportunity to do it again. There's always more opportunities, right? But we've got to ask ourselves, why is reaching a healthy weight important? The thing is that we may get motivated by some of these different things that I just talked about, our mental condition, our physical condition, our relational condition, things like that. We may be motivated in the moment to lose some weight, but if we don't really get to the bottom of our why, then we're going to struggle to get there. We're going to struggle to stay motivated, and even if we get to our target weight, well, then what, right? Are we creating something, or are we just moving in a direction? So, let's see here. Yeah, so I want to talk for a minute about some of these whys. And I'm going to go back to this slide here. I'm going to give the first one. Many of us say, I want to live longer. I don't know about you. I mean, yeah, I don't want to die today or tomorrow. But I don't know that I want to be 100 years old either, right? I don't necessarily want to add more years to my life, but I definitely want to add more life to my years. I want to be a healthy old man. If I'm going to be an old man, I want to be a healthy old man. I want to be in good shape. I want to be mobile. I want to be vibrant, vital. I want to be able to enjoy life. And so that's going to be an important part of it, right? But let's take a few moments and let's just write down. I've got some ideas if we need something to get us started, but I think you guys have some. This is just kind of exercising the things we talked about several weeks ago. Why is being healthy important to you?
Energy, like, you know, when before getting involved, it was like just getting through the day,
Yeah.
you know. And now on the path, it's easier, like the gentleman was talking about in the video, like how he had that 1, 2 o'clock. Well, we were there. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, get me a double dose of coffee, and so
Yeah.
I would say more energy for sure, and mental clarity, like that's.
What else? You guys can just pop them out. Ideas?
Look better.
Look better, yeah. Nothing wrong with that at all, right?
Less pain. This morning I woke up like, oh my God. I've been eating so much bread.
Right? Okay.
Be healthy.
Just to be healthy, right? I mean, who wants to be sickly? Okay, what else?
I said, mine is a little different. I said help my friends.
Oh,
That's great.
Because if they see where I was at and where I have gone to, then that inspires them to come to the program.
Yeah,
you know,
that's
to
right.
get healthy.
that's a good
That's
point.
great. That's awesome.
That's really nice.
It's a powerful why. Yep. What else?
I think to help your blood pressure. One.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I just got on the blood pressure medicine, and I think if I lost my weight, I'd toss that stuff away, I believe.
How about avoid disease
Or, you know,
and stay off medications?
I could get around better physically.
Yeah, better mobility. I don't grunt near as often as I used to. I used to like get up off of a chair. Oh! Like, man, why did I do that? You know, I mean, as soon as I do it, I'd be like, what was that all about, right? One of the things I used to, when I went down to tie my shoe, I mean, it'd be like, I'd tie my shoe and I'd have to do it really fast and I'd still get up and go, because I'll, you know, Pushed all the air out of my lungs, right? What else? Anything else?
Self-gratification.
Yeah, you know what? Staying active. Self-gratification.
Feeling happy for once, than feeling miserable and
Yeah.
sickly and unhappy and grumpy and.
Well, I guess one of the things too is kind of an investment, because I've had like a lot of different weight loss journeys, and it's the same old story. Lose weight, gain it back, lose weight, gain it back, so that's why I wanted to do this program, so that I could get deeper into my own psyche about these very questions: what makes me tick?
Yeah.
Why am I doing it? Over and over.
Yeah, and you know, that's one of the things I really have appreciated about the Life Book is it gets deep. It
Yeah, it
kind of
is
digs
deep.
around, kind of clears the cobwebs out in those places we haven't been in a while. Makes us think about stuff and process things and figure out, why do I struggle with this? So actually, I'm glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things that makes the journaling part or the workbook part of the Life Book really good, is that it makes you ask those questions and answer them, and you gotta kind of dig a little bit deeper and figure out what's going on in there. It's when we do that that we can actually fix the stuff.
Yeah, but
It's been
Mylan,
out
you
of
help
place.
us do that too, though. Like, I mean, that's one of the I think that's the thing that sets this program apart is, you know, these meetings and you as a coach.
Yeah, and also, I know the conversations that we have, the question, discussions afterwards. It's like a full-orbed process, you know, that really helps us to be more successful. Well, tonight we're gonna look at 3 different areas. We're gonna look at the mindset, understanding the difference between dieting and actually creating a healthy weight. There's a difference there. Skill set, using body mass index and waist circumference to assess our current weight management phase. Where are we at right now? I think most of us know exactly where we're at, but we can learn what the process is a little bit better, so we can kind of look ahead down the road. And then the action, identifying our current reality and structuring our pathway to a healthy weight. All right, I mentioned, I had it in my notes here to mention the Life Book, but we already did. It really is a helpful tool, so I really encourage you guys to spend the time there. And this is a big book. I wouldn't expect to get through that in a few months.
No.
I'm looking at a year. If you can get through it in a year, you're doing really well.
And even going back.
Yeah, yeah. Yep. All right, so let's look at the mindset for a few minutes tonight. The most common mindset with any of these diet programs, remember I said the hook for Optavia is often the weight loss, right? That's like the sexy thing. Well, I want to get skinnier, I want to lose weight or whatever. That's the thing that kind of hooks people in. But what is it that moves us forward and keeps us going? So we're going to look at the mindset toward dieting. When we diet, we're running from something that we don't want. So let's do this. I'm going to make another list. Let's make a list of some things that we don't want. We said what we do want over here, right? So one of the things we don't want, I'll start out just to kind of give you an idea. One of the things that I hated the last couple of years, every time I went to buy clothes, I didn't like the way any of them looked, right? I'm pulling all these clothes off because part of it is I'm short, right? So if I got clothes big enough to fit around me, they were going long on my hands, right? Nothing seemed to fit right? So every time I go to the clothing store, that was I gotta do something about this. What are the I gotta do something about this is that you guys encounter? What have you experienced? I mentioned when I get out of breath tying my shoes.
Yeah.
That was always one of those things I was like, this ain't right? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like feeling tired all the time. I just feel tired.
Lethargic.
Yeah.
or like feeling like it's a punishment that like, well, you're fat, you did this to yourself,
I see what
now
you're
you get nothing. Just stop.
Right.
saying. How about feelings of self-loathing?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, very good.
How
Okay.
do you feel, honey?
What's that?
She's a-
Oh,
Yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
How about, let's just put tired of symptoms. Yeah, that was one of the things Loretta and I both talked about, is the fact that I used to have heartburn pretty much every day, a couple times a day, you know, it was kind of, man, I just feel, and not even once since I've been on this program. It's been really nice to be free of that, right?
Not being able to play,
Yeah,
dogs or kids or, you know, or whatever. Or run up the stairs and go grab something out of the.
yeah, you get to the point where I'm only doing what I have to do, right? I don't wanna only be able to do what I have to do, I wanna be able to have fun.
That's right.
Anyway.
Coming downstairs too.
Yeah, yeah, so let's say
Have a
pain,
sidestep.
right? What's
Yeah.
one of the things, pain?
Yeah. So, you know,
My knees don't hurt near as much when I get out of
The
bed in the
balance,
morning.
I guess mine is more like balance, like I always
Oh,
walk
okay.
sideways because I'm afraid of my.
Yeah,
I'm not, I think I'm, what do they call it, top heavy.
I'll tell you a story. I'm a youth pastor, right? And I've always been an athlete. And whether it was wrestling, used to be way back in the day when the kids would come into the youth group, any of the guys, they had to wrestle me. That was just kind of like
Oh,
that was the proof thing. I never lost. I got hurt a few times, but I never lost. Anyway, but more recently, and this was back when I was in Adrian, a kid challenged me to a race. And I used to be pretty fast. I was like, I can take this kid. We get out on the sidewalk and we're moving, and I lose my balance because my weight is not distributed the way it used to be, and I
Yeah.
literally went face first right down on the ground.
Oh.
I was so embarrassed. I lost that race, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And it was so embarrassing. I'm like, what in the world is happening to me? And I played it off as, well, I'm old. That's what happens when you get old, right? But today, if I were racing that kid, I'd probably beat him, because it's different. I feel so much younger now that I've lost 35 pounds.
I actually hate, since I've put on this much weight, I've actually have noticed how people treat you.
Wow. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks for your honesty. That one's a little bit
Yes.
harder to share, but it's true, right?
No, I've learned it since I put
Yeah.
on this weight. I've learned how that.
You know what I didn't like is how my doctor treated me. Every time I was there, she would
Oh
tell
my
me
God,
that
Dr.
according to the
Liska, he's
BMI,
terrible.
I was obese. Now my doctor is very nice. She's a wonderful woman. But she'd tell me that I was in the obese category.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, there's no way. She's like, yep, you are. So,
Just having that diagnosis, obesity, is terrible.
It's like
Well,
a dirty
I-
word.
And
Yeah,
honestly-
listen.
whenever I get blood tests, just for my yearly checkup, I'm like, what's gonna show up? Because I knew I wasn't healthy. What's gonna show up, right?
Mary said, what did you say?
Rejection.
Rejection.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay. Let me see if I had anything else.
I can't.
Yeah, how many of you guys don't like the way you look in pictures?
I
Can we
know,
take
I
that
know.
picture again? Can I stand
Yeah.
different?
I know,
Right?
I always say boots up.
Give
So-
me that thing
Get my
before you
belly.
put it anywhere, I gotta fix it.
Yeah.
Filter, put a filter on it.
So here's the thing, these unpleasantries can create an emotional response, and our emotional response is time to go on a diet, right? Or eat more. It depends on the
I
day.
thought that's where you
Oh,
were
I
going
know, like
So-
like emotional eating
Yeah.
too, because.
Yeah, that's true.
That's right.
Some people, when they're feeling bad or sad or depressed
what
or
I
whatever,
mean.
they don't eat. Well, I do just the opposite. I eat when I'm feeling sad or
Well,
upset.
that's right.
Bored or, yeah.
Right, bored,
Anxious.
Yeah.
yeah.
So all of these different things can trigger that emotional response. But the problem is that nothing gets created from trying to cover up a problem or cover up symptoms, right? And all of these things are symptoms. And so what we want to do differently here is we want to help you literally create something new. We want to help you create health. And that comes through creating a healthy lifestyle. We've got to use our own power to create. And we need some instruction on how to do it. We need some encouragement, some support. But here's the thing, and I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but we, being created in the image of God, literally have a gift, the power to be able to create. Now, the word create means to bring something into existence. Now we know that God has the power to create something out of nothing. We don't have that level of creative power, right? But being created in the image of God, we have creative power. I mean, look around us. Compare us to the animals, the plants, the rest of the things that we share this planet with. Nothing else creates like people do. I mean, somebody created this thing. I don't have any idea how they would do it. And these glasses and, you know, these tables and the boats that are out there and all of the stuff that we see, we are incredibly creative beings. We have incredible potential and power to create. I believe that's a God-given ability. I think it's a gift that God gave us. The question is, what are we creating with that? Are we creating a bigger midsection? Or are we creating better health? It depends on what we want to create. In Genesis 1:1, it says, and God created the heavens and the earth. And then just 26 verses later, he says, let us make man in our image. We've been created in the image of God. We've been given the gift, the ability to be creative just like he is. And so I want to encourage you tonight, I want to challenge you to think about using your creative powers to create something new for yourself. A new story, a new future, a new vision of who you want to be and what you want your life to be like. And this is an area that we do have the ability to create and change and make something new, right? I do want to clarify this. It doesn't mean we have the ability to control. I think we have to be very careful. We are not to try to control, but I think that we have a certain amount of agency. We have decisions that we can make, and we have abilities at our disposal, and we have information, and our minds are able to do things to create. We have choices, absolutely. And those things all put together give us the ability to create a different story than what we may be heading toward. All right. Here's what I want to do. I want to show you another story right now. This is another Optavia coach. This is she lives down in Texas, and I met her through my sister and brother-in-law. And we actually, I have to tell this part of it because she's going to watch this video, and I need to come clean. But anyway, we were competing for the months of December and January, and she beat me in getting clients and coaches and all of that kind of stuff just by a little bit. But she still beat me, and we're still going head to head. She's a very successful coach. She's moving ahead. She's getting lots of clients. I'm doing pretty well myself. And so it's nice to have people in the community. So as you guys are all challenging one another, even in the coaching level, we challenge one another. But anyway, Kim has a powerful story, and I want to share that story with you.
Hello, my name is Kim Bryan, as Mylan said, and so I'm very excited to be sharing. Thank you, Mylan, for the opportunity. So I'm sharing about Element 6, and so my journey, I started my journey in April of 2022, last year, April 3rd, 2022, and I had a big goal. I had 100 pounds to lose, so I knew I was going to be on this journey for a long, long time. I had decided, I was very cynical about program, honestly and truly at first, because I've tried everything, but I was like, you know what, I need to invest in my health right now and see if this works, because later I would be investing in disease. And I knew I didn't want to do that. I was looking at being diabetic, going to be on diabetes medication within the next doctor's appointment, which was 2 months after I started program. And, you know, heart disease runs in my family. All those things ran through my mind, and I just had a made up mind to say, I'm giving it 60 days. If this works, it works. If it doesn't, at least I tried. So I did. I started it, and within 2 months, I was blown away by the progress. Went to the doctor's office. My doctor was blown away. She had to pick her mouth up off the floor, couldn't believe. I dropped almost 40 pounds in 2 months, and my blood work was amazing. I was no longer diabetic, pre-diabetic rather, and I was no longer had high cholesterol. So I was very, very healthy at that point, still working towards a 100-pound weight loss, which I finally achieved in January of this year. Super excited. Ended up going to Hawaii and just came back, had a few more pounds to drop because I did enjoy Hawaii, but got right back on plan. It was actually super easy because I had installed the habit of health that talks about in the books, read the other elements. But element 6 talked about transition, and it talks about how to prepare for maintaining a healthy weight. And so I have, of course, been very much into that and still into it to this day, and was in it early on. But I went back to it when I got close to my weight goals. Because why? Because I didn't want a yo-yo diet. At this point in my journey, this is not a diet for me. This is a transformation. I'm committed to keeping my weight off. I don't want to be that 70 percentile of people who bring their weight back after 2.5 years, 2.5 years. I've lost 100 pounds, guys. There's no way that's coming back on. So how do I do that? I have to make a plan, because if you don't make a plan, guys, you plan to fail. Okay. So I had to make a plan. So element 6 really helped me to do that. How did it help me to do that? It told me where the barometer was to where, okay, now I'm at a healthy weight. I can start thinking about transition, which is incredibly important. For those of you thinking you're going to hop off the fuelings and hop back right into life, you know, eating regular food, even healthy food, fruits and things like that, you really should think about transitioning per the Optavia plan. Okay, very, very critical and important. Otherwise, you could have some gut health problems. So I wanted to do that, follow that. Additionally, I wanted to make sure I was getting in enough calories to maintain my weight. So what did I do? I went to a body composition specialist who does different scans, one of them being a DEXA scan, another one being an RMR scan. And I got some kind of electronic pictures of my body. I totally actually just did this week. It was really, really cool. But I was able to determine pretty precisely what my body fat percentage was, how many calories that I need to have just if my body does nothing all day long, but just runs systems. So that's great to have a baseline. And then I could start thinking about, okay, what kind of fitness am I going to do? What fitness level do I want to do? And there's no right or wrong to that. You might want to beef up. You might just want to tone. You might just want to have a sedentary life and do a little bit of walking or things like that. Whatever it is for you, you just want to follow the things that are in element 6, just so that you can craft your plan for going through transition and into maintenance. I'm super excited about where I'm at. I'm glad it gave me peace and understanding of knowing that, you know what, I don't have to stress about putting weight back on. And I don't have to stress about how am I going to make sure I don't lose weight, which is really more my concern these days than if I'm going to put it back on. I need to make sure I don't lose any more weight, and that's a good problem to have, isn't it? I mean, it's an awesome problem to have. Can't believe I'm there. So listen, I want to just tell you good luck to you in the future. Keep it up. Follow the elements in the book. Element 6 is fantastic. It's been a lifeline for me. And thanks so much, Mylon, for taking the time to talk to me.
So we're going to look at a few of the skill sets then. All right, let's look at the path. It's not just one-step weight loss, and that's one of the biggest things that we have to understand, is that a lot of times when we're looking at something like this, we're like, I'm on a diet. I'm on a weight loss plan. It's a one-step deal. So this is a thing that shows us the different steps. I'm going to go ahead and read these. Can you guys read those from back there? Can you read them all? Okay. So basically, we start out in this place. Many of us start out here. Phase 1 is the weight loss phase, and some of you are in that right now. and you're in this process of losing weight, but it's important to see that there's more steps along the way. Phase 2 is is being at a healthy weight. So we're gonna take a look tonight at what is considered a healthy weight for you. And there's a few tools that can help us. We're gonna come back to this phase in a minute. Phase 3 is what we call optimization. That's where we really then begin to take, okay, now I've reached this. So one of the things that I noticed when I really started dropping the pounds is I feel good. I can go ride my bike, I can exercise, I can get back in the gym, and I feel so much better. So then I began to put some of those other things in. It doesn't mean all of us have to go out and become fitness instructors or anything like that, but it does mean that we can begin to optimize that. And then phase 4 is longevity. It's establishing the systems that will help you to maintain your weight loss and your fitness long term. So this is the BMI chart. Everybody loves the BMI, don't we? Don't we just love this? But this just kind of helps us to know where we're at and what our risk of disease is based on our weight, okay? Here's another one, and this also would be affected by your age, but again, up until about 65 or 70. These are ideal, right? For men, about 37 inches, measured right across here, about the belly button. For women, about 31.5 inches. Now, I know these are big ideals, and for some of you, you might be thinking, are you serious? That just doesn't even seem right. But these are some things that can help us to gauge, okay, where could I be? Where should I be? And just some different things. And again, these are all in the book, so you can reference them later. This is the thing that Kim was talking about. She was talking about actually going in. There's different tests that they can do. There's caliper tests, and there's floating in water tests, and there's different tests that they can do that help you actually figure out what your percentage of body fat is. And you do want to be in a healthy range. You can be unhealthy. You can actually have body fat that's too low. Your body doesn't need fat. That's why it's there. But what is healthy, a healthy amount, and this graph in the book will help you to figure out that. All right? Okay, so how are we going to do this? We'll get to this in just a moment, but I don't have a slide between that last one and this one. So once you've mastered phase 2, which is figuring out what your goal weight is going to be or what you can be shooting for, we want to move to that optimization. I talked about that a few minutes ago. But here's the good news. Once we have lost weight, all of those other health habits get easier. Even the one, Steve was talking about drinking less coffee. His caffeine intake is down, which means he's sleeping better. And there's all of these things that come along with. And so it's almost like a snowball effect, right? Once your weight goes down, then all of a sudden you've got more energy, you move easier, you have less pain, which makes it easier to go out and exercise and play with your kids and all of those kinds of things. And so there's this kind of snowball effect, and that's what we're really looking for. And then when the snowball effect begins to take effect, we want to take advantage of it. Let's ride it, and move toward some of those goals, right? So this is where we are really then begin working through the 6 macro habits and looking at all of the micro habits. We talked about that a few weeks ago. The fact that there are these 6 big macro habits. We're not going to dive into that tonight, but we're starting to look at the different habits of health that can help us move in the right direction. And this is the part we're going to get to the action. We want to revisit the structural tension. So this is where we are, right? This is where we want to be, and this is where we begin putting in, well, what's it going to take to get there? Remember the illustration I did with the rubber band, me and Mike? A few weeks ago, and this is about beginning to figure out, okay, which of the habits can I do right now and begin to engage and put into place. Like I said, that book is thick. It's a year long, a year to get through that, right? You're not going to be able to install all of these habits right now, but what we do need to do is start saying, okay, if I don't start installing them right now, then I'm going to get to my goal weight and I'm not going to have any new habits, and I just probably won't do it. So instead of procrastinating, we want to start looking at what's possible, what's available, and start thinking, oh, you know what? I really need to work on installing that one. We need to put it down as a goal, and we need to begin working toward it. Okay? Incorporating these habits will lower our risks and maximize our own body's ability to heal, thrive, and ultimately live a longer, fuller life in a healthier state. This requires developing a habit of evaluating all the areas of our health picture and then looking for the areas that we're going to improve a step at a time. One of the phrases that you'll see over and over again if you're on the Optavia website or if you're reading through the book or in different places, the mission of Optavia is lifelong transformation, one healthy habit at a time. So the goal is just to continue installing new habits of health, keeping moving forward. It's a path. We need to stay on the path.